I was dead for a whole 10 minutes. So at any time they could have stopped. They could have, you see on movies, they're like, nah, he's a goner. They could have done that.
Shout it out and let them know it's the Davina and Sabrina show. These girls got a lot of sass, topics with a lot of class. Davina and Sabrina show. Spill the tea, drink it up. These girls really know what's up. Spill the tea, drink it up. These girls really know what's up. Davina, Sabrina, it's Davina and Sabrina. Davina and Sabrina show.
Welcome to another episode of the Davina and Sabrina show. So don't forget to follow us and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. Right.
Welcome back. We are back with an amazing topic. So today we have Matthew Allick, actor, model, entrepreneur, writer, and CEO of Allick Productions, and also a walking miracle. But before we actually bring him on to discuss our topic today, just want to give you a little bit of facts, just a little bit of background. Okay, so because there's a few terminologies that we're going to use and we're going to shorten it a little bit. So pulmonary embolism, also known as PE, is a blood clot. It is the third leading cardiovascular death. Now, according to the lung.org, 1 in 1,000 people will suffer this in a lifetime. Okay? Now, imagine having PE and then oxygen being cut off from your brain. Take that point. And there are facts about this. Let me read this. So at 3 minutes where your oxygen has been cut off from your brain, at 3 minutes, neurons will suffer more extensive damage, with brain damage being likely. At 5 minutes, death becomes imminent. At 10 minutes, even if the brain remains alive, a coma and lasting brain damage are almost inevitable. Imagine that. So, thank you, Matthew, for gracing us with your presence. And what a story we are looking forward to hearing from you. But before we get into, your life-changing moments, talk us through a few months prior to this changing moment. Where were you emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally?
A PE.
Okay. Yes.
Starts in the leg.
Okay.
And that's where it sits. So
he wouldn't.
9 times out of 10, people have PEs for the life, but it doesn't travel anywhere. It just stays in the legs.
Okay.
So leading up to that time where I was, everything was okay in terms of health. Like, I'm a pretty healthy guy. I was going to the gym, but I wasn't going to the gym for a purpose. It was just like a routine mental state and just trying to stay in shape. Work-wise, I was fine. I was in the process of saving to buy a house. So I was engaged at the time. The relationship wasn't going too well at the time, but in that time I was in a good space. My faith-wise, I was brought up as a Christian and stuff, but I became lukewarm. So I was doing stuff out of a routine with no purpose. So like, I will pray and just be like, yeah, thank you, Lord, for this day. Amen. I wasn't putting things to God at the time, but that's in terms of my faith. So that's where I was in life. But inside, I would say I was generally happy.
Yeah. Okay. So can you take us a bit further down the line, a few days before it happened? Can you tell us where you were at that stage a few days before?
So I think when I came back I went away the year before for my birthday, Cape Verde. Then I remember coming back, and me and the fiance at the time, we had an argument. And then I was like, why am I out of breath, just argument? And then like a few months later, the days leading up to it, my legs at work were swollen. And I just thought, where I was just working nights and it wasn't busy and I was sitting down at work and stuff, I just thought it was down to that. Then the next day it just went back to normal. So that happened twice. So I didn't think any of it. And then I remember running for an emergency at work, running to a client. then running up the stairs, and I just got out of breath. But the out of breath wasn't like, I was wasn't gasping for air, but it was like I ran like a long distance. And it wasn't, it's just a gentle rush. And my colleague who I was with, he was like, "You okay?" Like, yeah, I just got out of breath. And that's very surprising because I'm in the office, I'm the fittest one there, youngest one there, I'm eating healthy. And then a few days later, I was playing football with my son and I just kicked the ball once. And then I went on my knees because it's like, oh, why am I out of breath doing basic stuff? So I was getting out of breath for just doing basic things like climbing the stairs, but it would disappear. So I'll climb the stairs, get out of breath, then just take a deep breath. Then I'll climb the stairs again, I'll go back, and then I was fine. So I didn't think anything of it. Then I remember I went to the gym and then I was like, I'm not working out today because I'd done a row of 4 nights. So I just thought, you know what? My body probably needs to relax and rest. I only did those 4 nights because it was a Sunday, more pay, bank holiday, more pay. So I thought, you know what? I'm saving. So yeah, let me just do that. So that's what happened leading up to those days. Those were the signs.
And what actually happened on the actual day?
So on the day, the night before, I asked my mum for an inhaler because I just thought it was down to asthma because and then it seemed to work. And then I remember walking up the escalator because I took the kids to go get their uniform. But I don't know the picture. Imagine like when you're drunk and then you're determined to get to the destination, but the room's moving, but you're like, that's how it was because I felt I was going to pass out. So that feeling, I was like, no, there was a Samsung shop in front and I darted to the seat just to sit down. Then in the morning, I sat in the car, that out of breathness came again. So I went into work and I was like, guys, I remember doing this. I was like, guys, I just don't feel right. Just like really got pain in my chest now. It's a bit of a pain, but so my colleague, I always say to him, you tried to kill me because he's like, oh, you probably need air in your lungs. Let's go and walk up the stairs. So I walked up the stairs and I took one step and then I was like, nah, this is off. I remember I was in the elevator. So I said, I'll meet you upstairs. And I had my hands out like that, breathing. Went up there, sat down. And then he said, I'm going to call the ambulance. I said, yeah, call the ambulance. Now the ambulance, this is how God is, God works in mysterious ways. So the ambulance came within 5 minutes. Now I'm young, fit and healthy. And we call ambulances for our clients all the time. And they could be like 90 years old plus. And they will say, what's happened? We say, like, they're falling, they're bleeding. All right, we're going to take 2 hours. Let's make. But they said 5 minutes. They came in 5 minutes. At this time, I had my eyes closed. Just because I just wanted them closed. I just felt I couldn't open them. So they did the checks or the thing. And then they said, your heartbeat is beating upside down. But that's normal for some people. We just want to check. It's normal for you. All the other hospitals are full, but Hammersmith, they're available. And Hammersmith don't have A&E. So anyone just can't walk in the Hammersmith City Hospital. But they said, we could take you there. So in the ambulance, I'm talking to them fine. I'm like, yeah, like, this, my next of kin's this. And I could hear him on the phone saying, he's going to be okay. And like my fiance at the time, she was like, yeah, he was complaining about his chest before. So just let me know when he's in A&E. And then just tell him to call me and X, Y, Z. And honestly, yeah, he's got to be fine. He's a strong man. So they pull me out. I said, I could walk, Like, you don't need to wheel me. I'm a grown-ass man. Like, he's not an invalid. They said, no, it's our job. Then a heart specialist was waiting for me and 12 trainees. And then he was like, just by the off chance, I found this out the other day, just by the off chance he was free.
Wow.
Off chance. And then he told the other trainees, look, we've got someone to do with the heart. Let's go down and see. So there's 12 trainees in the room. Then he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad's the pain? So I remember I said it's 11. Now, in the ambulance, they spray something in your tongue, and it's a spray that opens up your arteries so they can see, if anything, but it gives you a crazy headache. So in the ambulance, I remember doing this, thinking, why is my head so heavy? He goes, that's the side effects of it, because all your arteries are open from a spray. So he said, I'm not talking about the spray, pain in your head, talking about the one there. And I was like, now it's a 13. because the pain was hard. Pain was hard. Then that's when I died. So as soon as I said 13, I died. There's no heartbeat. I was gone. So,
Jeez.
wow. What happened was they were trying to resuscitate me, CPR, but they couldn't get me. They were trying to do it 5 minutes. But in that process, I got internal bleeding at the same time because of the pressure. So they got the defibrillator, and another 10 minutes, another 5 minutes, they were trying to shock me back to life. They were turning up. Now, at any point, at the 5 minute mark, 7 minute mark, they could have just said, but for some reason, they kept on going. So they managed to...
No pulse.
No
Throughout
pulse. For the whole... I was dead for a whole 10 minutes. So at any time, they could have stopped. They could have... You see on movies, they're like, nah, he's a goner. They could have done that. Because I work with clients, and when I visit their house and they've killed themselves or they've died, they ask me to check to see if there's a pulse and is there any sign of life. Then I'm like, no. So they could have done the same thing to me, but for some reason, they kept on going. So the 12 trainees were there, the heart specialists were there, and the ambulance crew were there, all trying to get me back to life. So they got me back.
At what point?
10-minute mark.
10 minutes.
And they said there was the smallest of heartbeats, enough to put me on life support. While they were getting the life support machine, I died again.
Oh my God.
I literally again, like, wow, did that? So I died again, and then they shocked me, turned it really high, shocked me, and managed to get enough beat for me to go on the life support machine. So they put me on life support, emergency MRI, and then what they found is that the PE, they recognized it was a PE because there was a massive clot in my legs, but it looked like it traveled all the way up because this whole side of my body was clotted. My whole left side full of clots. And then there was a clot that's like the size of a cricket ball, which is really about that, just sitting there on my heart and lungs. So those times, like, I'm trying to breathe when I'm getting out of breath because my body's finding little pockets in that clot to get air in. So there was just no air to get through that ball. And then, and it was just lodged between my heart and lungs, and that's what it was.
Do you have any memory of that time when you were down, like from when I think you mentioned about the 13, and then is there any?
No, I have no. So all what I'm telling you is from notes I've seen from the doctors, what the doctors said, and like family and friends said, and there's no memory of. The only memory I have is before. So when they figured out what happened, they said the options are that I have a open heart surgery. So open heart surgery is quite a risky operation because of the size of the clot. They were worried that they couldn't just take it out, so they wanted to cut me open. But they said it was too risky because of the amount of strain my body's been through in such a short space of time. So this whole left side's clotted. I've had a cardiac arrest, so my heart's weak. Then I've got the internal bleeding, and then they found a mass on my liver.
What is that?
So it's like a cloud. You don't know what it is. It could be cancer or something. And they found it sitting on my liver. So they was like, this is too risky. Only 2 doctors in the UK do this surgery at a drop of a hat, and would have to fly him out. So we can't afford to have him waiting around and doing that. So they said the other option is to get a catheter, insert it into my leg. So basically it's like a long wire with a scissors on the end. Push it up and then snip away at the clot, and then hopefully it would just dissolve with drugs and medication over a period of time. But again, that created more internal bleeding because imagine it's a wire with a sharp thing on the end and there. So I did that, but then they told my family that, listen, he's had no oxygen on his brain for 10 minutes. If the operation is successful, he is not going to be the same again. He's going to be brain damage. He's going to have memory loss. He may not even walk again. So they were like, we're just going to prepare you. So the operation was successful. And then I was in a coma for 3 days. I was on life support for 3 days. So at that time, the machine's beating for you. I wasn't beat, but I wasn't doing it by myself. It was the machine. So when people see me, I've got tubes everywhere, and it's that time.
Love the show? Show some love back.
Like, follow, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You know the drill.
All under at The Davina
And Sabrina Show.
Do they know why this happened? Like, because obviously you were very fit. You went to the gym, and did the doctors give a reason as to why?
No.
Just
So there was like loads of questions they were asking me about my lifestyle and everything. And it was all to know, like my family knew that I'm not a smoker. I have rum here and there, but I'm not a functioning alcoholic. I don't abuse my body. I'm gym and stuff. So like even like now, like with the aftercare, I'm still under investigation because they don't know why it happened. And they did a hereditary test. And nothing came up on like my mum's side, but as I don't know my dad, we don't know if it's a history on his side. So
That's insane.
yeah, so
wow.
So,
luckily.
so you was in coma for 3 days. Could you feel your body, like when you came out of the coma, like what was,
So
do you remember how you felt? And,
like when I woke up,
yeah,
so when I woke up, it was just like I was sleeping.
that's how it felt like.
Yeah, so it was like so when I woke up, I was paralyzed.
Yeah. So you
Like I couldn't feel my body. So when I woke up, I remember just turning my head and like confused on where I am. And then my cousin Lisa, she was there like just stroking my hand and I'm like, what's happened? So prior before that bit, when I woke up, there was my heart, I twitched because people were whispering in my ear and stuff like that, and I reacted. And then they were like, he's reacting because obviously I'm in a coma and I'm not doing nothing. So they're like, he's reacting, come over. And then the doctor said, well, he's not doing nothing now, so we have to keep him. And if he reacts, then we could slowly take him off. So I wasn't reacting when the doctor came, but when the doctor went away, I reacted. So
and was hearing your family's voice as well.
stubborn.
Yeah.
But when I think someone said, boy, you better respond to what the doctor's saying. So it was just asked to I can't remember if it was to blink or move. I think it was move my head or something, and then I blinked and moved my head. That bit's not too quite clear, but I moved my head because I couldn't move my body. I moved my head, and then they were like, okay. And then when I like woke up, I remember my cousin was there like stroking my hand, and I was like, well, what's happened? She's like, you died. I was like, huh?
Could you imagine waking up and hearing that?
I'd be like, what?
I was like, what?
Am I in a dream? Or-
And then they were like, you had a heart attack. I was like,
yeah.
and then I moved my head. And then, do you know, like when someone wakes up, you're like, and then you go back to sleep. That's what I literally did. I was like, me hearing that. I was like, then I went back to sleep. And then I woke up, and then the process of healing started.
What was
Yeah.
the biggest part of your recovery?
The biggest part was getting used to the fact that my life's not going to be the same.
Yeah, because
I'm
sorry,
happy for this.
when you came out of the coma, though, at that point you still don't know whether how much the brain damage, and whether you are going to be paralyzed.
Yeah, so when I woke up, I was paralyzed, and then I remember saying to God, I can't live like this, man. Like I saw my son there, my fiance at the time, her dad was there, and I remember when her dad came in, I started crying because I was like, this man trusted me to look after his daughter, and I can't do that like this. So I was like, no, like I prayed to God that, that prayer, you're like, Lord, get me out of this, and I promise I won't do it. But I didn't do that. I just said, like, I'm ready to die.
Jeez.
I just said, Lord, I'm ready to die, man, like, because I've experienced death. So I was like, it's not a big deal. So I was ready to go. So the hardest part was trying to accept the fact that I'm not going to be around. But then the next day, when I said I want to die that night, I spoke to my son, and then like my fingers started moving, I started recognizing colors, my feet was moving, and I was starting to function. And then the memory started coming back because my brother was, because I'm like, you know, I like movies and stuff, like especially old school stuff. So my brother was like saying famous quotes from movies and getting me to repeat it. And I was like, oh yeah. And the famous one was from House Party.
Oh, House.
And he's like, I got the car keys.
Yeah.
I had the house keys of my parents, the house out way down. I was like, yeah.
So you remember? So that was the other check.
Yeah. And then like, he passed me my phone charger and said, oh, put this in. And I remember clearly, I was like, trying to, and then I managed to get it in. He started showing me like fruits, and I remember I said that it's like a lemon when it was an orange, because my vision was a bit weird.
Yeah.
So everybody that was in the hospital came to see me every day, whether I speak to them now or not. Like, I can't take away like everything they done for me. Like, even like, you know, my fiance at the time, she was there every day. Her dad came every day, my mum. And the thing is, my mum came every day, my brother, like my family, and especially like with my family, because Hammersmith is miles away from where they, like some would just come for 5 minutes to say, Matthew, I've got to go. But they would just come. So everyone that came to visit me, I can't take that away, because that was a massive support, be in that state and having, you know, people come see you, school friends and all that stuff.
How do you think this is impacted your relationship then with your friends, your family? Has there been any changes in?
I think there's more change in me that, listen, man, like, for me, I'm not putting up with BS no more. Life's too short. Like, at the time, lucky I had my affairs in order, but it's, if I didn't, and there's certain things, you know, relationships you want to mend, you want to tell people certain things and all that stuff. So now I just don't put up for BS. I don't care what I lose, what I gain. Just I ain't got time, man. Life's too short, and I'm on a journey now. Like, God's be on a journey, because especially having doctors, like imagine doctors walking up to you and saying, like looking at your notes and being like, oh, you know, pointing at you, like people coming like I'm a tourist attraction or I'm famous or something. I'm like, people looking at me surprised and pointing and calling their friends. Because only 5% of people survive what I've been through. In the whole world, 95% is mortality.
You're truly blessed, Matthew.
And then also, like, even if you do survive, the likelihood
Yeah.
it could go, that you're even walking, you can feel me.
Well,
Yeah, like it's still an ongoing process. Like sometimes I can find it hard to get out of bed, like because my legs swell and like I'm on blood thinners, and sometimes if I don't take the blood thinners, I can feel it. Like even like now, my veins, like the blood doesn't flow the way it's supposed to be just in my leg. It flows the opposite way. So like in terms of physical fitness, I'm not where I used to be. And it's something that I'm just going to have to come to terms with. Like flying, I can't go on a journey that's longer than 6 hours now. But I just give God thanks that I'm breathing.
Yeah.
So since then, how was your regime in terms of rehabilitation been? What has it been like?
So, do you know, everything just happened overnight. Like literally things went slowly back to normal. But, you know, the medication when I left, like it was so strong. I had to inject my stomach. I had to take 20 milligrams of warfarin. I had to go to the hospital over 3 times a week, because they don't know why it happened. So someone who's had bleeding on their brain, I spoke to him, he takes warfarin.
Yeah.
He's only on 5 milligrams. I was on 20.
20?
That's how bad my condition was. So the rehabilitation has been good. In terms of support from family and friends has helped massively. But for me, I have to take credit for myself in terms of my mindset. Because my mindset, like, I've got people who rely on me, like my kids, man. Like, I can't afford to sit down and feel sorry for myself if I'm able to do that. So, I was trying certain things. I realized, okay, my body can't do that, but I would try, and then
You'll get there.
yeah, I'll get there.
You mentioned about God, lukewarm type of thing. So you're a man of faith. How, couple of questions with that. How did you think, gosh, why me? God, why me? And how is your faith now? How much you...
At the time, I did think, hold on, like, why? How does this happen to someone who's fit and healthy and me? But I also remember my mum reminded me that when I was younger, someone said to her that he's going to be like a mighty man of God. Something about he's going to transform and change the way certain things happen. But also with that, you do get attacked by the enemy. So the enemy doesn't attack people that already follow him. He attacks the ones he can't get. So I just look at it like that's what happened to me. Like I was just attacked by the enemy. And like now there's been so much stuff, probably for another show, so much stuff that's happened from then till now where God's just shown me, listen, I've got a plan for your life. So that's how my faith is now. It's grown from where it was before to now.
So what's next on the agenda for Matthew Allick?
Stay alive.
Yeah.
Stay alive. No more dying. I think what's next is in terms of just pursuing my dreams, and just pursuing what God's called for my life. I know one aspect that he's called for because he's demonstrated it already. That's what I'm meant to do.
Do you care to share?
Motivational speaking and speaking about my experiences and showing how God has brought me out of it to the point where I shouldn't even be talking now.
Mm-hmm.
To share that and to encourage people. And I done a talk last week and so many people were blessed and inspired from it.
Some of us men, are speaking to the men here, some of us, we don't feel appreciated. Some of us, our mental health is low. We've been told we don't want to amount to nothing. We can't even look ourselves in the mirror, but we need to pray that prayer and have that faith in God. So when we stand in the mirror, you can look at yourself. I am beautifully and wonderfully made in the eyes of the Creator. You're going to go to the barber shop and get your hair cut and be like, bounce out, be like, yes, bud, in all the barbers, and be like, yes, because I am beautifully and wonderfully made. If I can bounce back from being suicidal, I can bounce back from anything. So I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, if I can bounce back from that, I can bounce back from anything. And you believe that.
People were crying when I was speaking, and it's made them think, okay, I need to get my stuff together with God. That's the main purpose. So just more of fulfilling my dreams and goals, and more time with family and staying humble with it, and not worrying about what titles people put on my name. Like someone over there called me actor, entrepreneur.
Well, you develop sometimes, but that's the whole point. You're humble about it, so that's why other people could gas you up.
But me before, if someone was walking across the road and then they said something about me, I would want to go over, find out why they're saying. No, I'm like, it's not true. Say what you want. This is my direction. I'm not coming off my path for your BS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my path there. It's God. That's the devil. Be gone. So yeah.
All right. I'm sure there's a prayer that potentially has helped you through this trying times, during that time and after.
Yeah.
Do you want to end your little talk with a little prayer that resonated with you during this time?
My brother sent me a prayer from a rabbi, and it was just a basis about stop trying to do things in your own strength. Stop ignoring when God's speaking to you. Like, you get your gut feeling and stuff. And a lot of decisions I made during that time and even after that time was my own strength. I never put nothing to God. And on the outside, it looked like Matthew had it all together. Like, had house, had money, had car, everything like that. But on the inside, God was showing me there was more for my life, and I wasn't listening. So he sent me a prayer from a rabbi, and the prayer was just basically, do you want to say the prayer?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll close our eyes, bow our heads, and it's, Lord, I just ask you for forgiveness. And I ask you for forgiveness for us and me trying to do things in our own strength. We failed miserably doing it in our own strength. And today I want to give all of me to you. Forgive me of trying to do things this way, and I want to do it your way. And I promise I give my heart and my whole being to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that. What inspiration.
Shout out to my brother for encouraging me in those times, sending me those stuff.
Right. So, shout out for your brother. Thank you so much for sharing this amazing story.
Everybody that came to the hospital to support me, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right. You're welcome. Well, thank you so much. Please subscribe and like and share us. We are on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagrams under the Sabrina and Davina Show. So thank you so much, Matthew. What an inspirational story. And I'm sure we'll keep in contact with your progress and wish you all the best. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.
Shout it out and let them know.